Everybody, welcome. Don't have Jason yet, but he said he'll be here sometime soon. What is it, Rory? Yeah? In an hour? That's probably about right. Okay. You want to hop in your fort there, Rory? Okay, I need to tweet. Okay. Oh, you're in a monster game, huh?
Yeah. Where you feed a monster.
Oh, where you feed the monster. Oh, okay. That sounds fun.
It's made from chocolate. Nothing wrong with the sound.
Okay.
If they don't like it, then they'll just.
Hey, what's up, Faded? I guess let's get rid of Morg. Okay, Rory, you wanna hop in there?
Good eye.
Oh. It's pretty yummy.
He doesn't like it, see? Look up. Let's see it. That fridges.
Yeah?
Ooh, yes, going up this fridge. This is the kind of plate here. You can feed him whatever you think you'll like.
Oh, does he like that one?
I think he's going to like whatever I eat.
Okay.
I mean,
What's up, Butter? Ban Draven? This dude play Draven? Or are you just trolling? I'm just gonna pick Rakan anyways. It's not amazing into Rammus. It's not horrible, but it's not amazing. Oh, ban my support Draven, yeah. It's a shame. Okay, well we get a lot of value out of Merc Treads. A lot of value out of Merc Treads here. Is OBS looking alright? I cannot get Total War to work. It just lags. I've spent like 4 hours today messing with like any video setting I can find to try to get it to work. I don't understand. It was working fine, you know, up until probably a couple of weeks ago. So it has to be some kind of update with a driver or some random
I
bullshit.
like those chili pajamas.
You like those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at those chili.
Okay. Why don't you hop on? Yeah, those are fun, aren't they? Shucks, these chili pepper pajama pants I have. Zerath bottom. It's very similar to brand. It's more annoying than Brand, I think, in lane. Later on, I think, unless Xerath's like turbo fed, Brand is usually more relevant because he can just, you know, press R in a team fight. Where the boys? Give me the chat. Okay, there we go. Well, he must have high elo. The ADC, I don't know. Hopefully he's good. I mean, really, there's probably not that much of a skill gap between like Gold 1 and P3. I think I'm P3. I can't remember what I am. I think we're low P3. You guys love, for me, like, the idea of just abandoning my lane, huh? I mean, Tristana is a pretty good option, too, right? Kill the immobile mage in our own lane with Tristana. I mean, we might take a look at Brand, or at, yeah, Brand sometime if we can, but yeah, I'm kind of more what he was saying. But I don't know, like, see, Cinder doesn't have Ignite, but I don't know, I feel like we beat that a lot when people try to do that. When they, like, perma-roam mid or top, it's almost guaranteed we get a kill on their ADC if the wave crashes. And they miss a lot of XP in transit. I don't know. I mean, it does work sometimes, but it seems very, very popular that people try that. And I comment on it every time they do it. And I feel like a lot of the time it's a fail. I do think that roaming, you know, does have, you know, there are certain windows, right? Like after a back or something. You know, it could be good. And obviously, you know, if you've got a, like, certain timings, right, where, but it costs you something every time you do that. So, like, if you push the wave in, you know, yes, you can roam, but you're losing a back timing to do that. So, it better be worth it. I could have been up a little bit more aggressive. It's so fucking annoying. Hey, Trist! You have hands or what? Like, at least throw a bomb on him or something. I don't know. I think one thing about roaming is it feel like the visible... Oh my god, dude. Who is this guy? Is he still lagging? I know he lagged earlier. Like, the results... The big results are very visible, right? If the roam works. I think that's a huge part of it. Is that it looks really OP, right? If you get the kill, like, that's very obvious. But the consequences aren't as obvious. Like, not getting a back timing, you know, losing a couple of waves of experience. Like, it's not really dramatic. Unless you fuck up the gank and die. Then it's really dramatic, but... But, like, just the opportunity cost is not as obvious. Why not Glacial over Guardian? Because you get really fucked up in lane without Second Wind and Guardian against something like Xerath. Also, they nerfed... you don't want free boots, because you want your boots early as Rakan. And they nerfed Hourglass, so it's not as good. So Stopwatch is okay, I guess, as like single use, but it doesn't have the build path isn't as good later. You don't really need the mana from Biscuits. It's okay, but it's like Second Wind and Guardian is still a huge deal. The big one is you're personally a lot squishier without Guardian throughout the whole game. Yeah, I mean, if you look at challengers and like high level Rakans, they're split on it, and I think a lot of them favor Guardian. I think it used to be more popular before fucking go, you clown! Oh my god, dude. I'm getting trolled so hard. I mean, we can look it up after this, but I think that was a lot better before they nerfed Hourglass, if you wanted to go Hourglass. I'm gonna saving it null magic here. I don't know. It may not be worth missing the XP, but I've tried it before. It's you're really, really squishy. Like, it's so if they don't have a lot of CC and you're not gonna get like chain CC'd and hard punished, like it can be alright, I guess, but the damage reduction is not that great. I don't know why I'm talking to these idiots. It's like, did I mind control you and make you try a 2v3 gank? I literally waited for like 10 seconds to pick up a null magic mantle, which is a very big deal against Arath. It doesn't prevent as much damage later on. Like, you're getting it almost strictly for the slow. If you look at the actual number of damage prevented on that rune, it's always less than Guardian. Virtually always less than Guardian. You're getting it for the slow. Really. Like, that's the biggest thing out of it. But you don't do a lot with the slow. You know, as Rakan, you basically... You go in, and then you get out, and that's it. And, like, having a little bit of a slow is okay, but... Like, your cooldowns are so long. And you don't have a lot of innate tankiness. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's not, like, the worst rune in the world. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I haven't had as much success with it. I think most Rakans are off it. Although, you know, I can totally respect there might be some high-level Rakans that still do it. This Triss plays so passively. Like, we've had so many chances to potentially jump on him. Get it. The fuck? Oh my god. Alright, well. This My bad. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, if they don't have a lot of dashes, but I'm telling you guys, the numbers, like, I've run it before and looked at it, and the numbers are absolutely abysmal on, like, damage prevented. It's strictly for a small little slow. And remember, like, slows don't stack. Like, you're already going to have them CC'd, your primary target CC'd, long enough to kill them anyways. A lot of champions have dashes, and a lot of other champions are also going to have slows. And it's a relatively weak slow on Rakan because you're not stacking a lot of AP, and you're not stacking a lot of plus healing and shielding. It's not like Janna where the slow is going to be like 80% or something. It's a relatively weak slow. Other champions also have a lot of slows. Slows don't stack. Rakan gets hit a lot, man. Like, if you get CC'd, I mean, it depends on what their comp is. And, like, it's not gonna prevent as much damage on an assassination, right? When Zed's going in, like, your shield plus Guardian is a lot of damage prevention. Like, if you CC the Zed, maybe it's gonna prevent, like, you know, 15% or whatever of it. But a lot of times, the Guardian shield is just as much or more. Slows used to stack, yeah, like 5 or 6 seasons ago, but it's been a while. I mean, this is almost coming down to a camp, the brand, though. This Triss is so... I don't know. Maybe she's lagging. She did lag out at the very beginning of the game. No, I don't think stacking slows is probably good for the game. I don't know if that sees me or not. If she auto attacks that, it might. Where are we going? We going down here? Oh, God. Holy shit. Damn it, I don't have my fucking wards yet. Triss auto attack, you little... Oh my God. This guy, I'm gonna have a stroke. Okay, well at least Vel'Koz got him. I thought I had my wards. I tried to ward that bush. I should not have walked in there. Yeah, it was rough. I mean, I don't know. I guess. Playstyle to me just always feels like kind of a cop-out answer. Like, some things are legitimate playstyles, but I think some of them are just, like... I feel like there is an optimal answer in most situations. I mean, some of it is playstyle, but they're encouraging the same... Like, you don't change how you play, you know what I mean? With that, I mean, I guess you're taking less trades in lane or something, but it's... Rakan's still mostly, you know, you're trying to engage. Is it? I feel like it's not. Because you can't take trades. Like, whenever Guardian's up, like, you can actually take a trade. And you heal quite a bit in lane from second wind. I think that if anything, the argument is it does provide a lot of slows in team fights, right? And if they have a lot of melees that do like a lot of AoE damage and they're all going to be clumped up, it can prevent, you know, some burst damage in team fights, right? If, you know, you get that on Brand or something and he's about to ult everybody. Okay. But I think the biggest thing is if they have 3 or 4 melees, being able to slow all of them. If they don't have a lot of dashes, and if your team doesn't have other slows, you know. God, what a fucking troll. It's like I was gonna come around and jump it with her. Yeah, I mean, Resolve did get nerfed, and that's when I tried out Glacial more, was when Resolve got nerfed, but... yeah, it's too greedy going for that one. Yeah, I would have just gone in the second bush if I were Syndra, because if you go for the third one, if they have any wards in any of the bushes, it's going to see you. The second one, there's still like a chance maybe it doesn't see you, you know? Again, that's assuming they don't have movement when they're slowed. Maybe. If it's like all in, I guess, but again, you're giving up a lot off of that shield early on. Giving up a lot of damage prevention. That's my experience with it. Like, just try playing with Glacial in lane for a while, like I did, and then switch back over to Guardian. You feel like you're fucking invincible when you have Guardian versus Glacial. Like, you're so much more durable, it's insane. Like, it probably doesn't show through in just the raw numbers. How did we lose that? I just think the numbers are just like, for as far as like the damage prevention aspect of it, are just pathetic that I've seen on it. Even in like team fights, even where we're winning, like hard dominating, the numbers are just always lower than Guardian. And so it just comes down to like, how valuable is that slow? And again, because you're not stacking AP usually on Rakan, you're not stacking like magic resist. They're gonna get it. Probably. Nice. I mean, okay, so he has a video on it. I'll watch it. I mean, we can look it up after this. How old is the video? Is it before or after the nerf to, Hourglass? Well, I mean, this Triss has problems, man. Like, she's doing all right. Like, she's doing all right stat wise. We're just not on the same page. Like, I thought we had chances to get some kills earlier. Okay. Well, maybe there's some aspect I'm not thinking about with it. Is a nerf for support. Anytime they increase costs by like 400, it's a nerf. Affordability is like the most important thing, rather than like raw stats usually. It was intended to be a nerf, right? Like they want you to have to pay more percentage-wise for that utility. All right, did we get Rammus? No, it's not supposed to be a sport item, but like the reason I'm talking about that is because that's a huge thing that adds value to the inspiration tree, is if you can take stopwatch and have it be useful beyond just its first click, right? You don't do it all the time, but there definitely were some Rakans that were getting Hourglass. Because, like, free boots aren't that great. Hex Flash, I would say, is probably not that great on Rakan. Oh, that little shitter just jumped me. Yeah, let's just send the critters in, see if we can get this. See, she took, like, no damage off of that because of Guardian. Just one case among many where if I had Glacial there, she may have died. I don't know if she would have died, but she would have been low as hell. I mean, Hex is good on hook champions, right? But like Rakan, a lot of his patterns, he needs to be like running and moving around with his R, usually to reposition. So it's like, I mean, you can use it over walls and shit, but I just don't think it's as good. Yeah, like Nautilus, Leona, Thresh, like those hook champs who rely very heavily on getting sort of the jump on people and getting like strange angles with hooks and stuff like that. It can be good. But again, Rakan, usually they see Rakan coming. Like, you can get him out of brush, but like, you know, you're usually running at him with your R and then trying to dodge some stuff. I was not expecting that turn. Well, there is, yeah, like, stopwatch can be good. I'm just saying it doesn't. It is 750 gold value technically, but you're almost never going to buy that item. I mean, it's not a way, like, it does have good applications, right? One thing that's really underrated about stopwatch, as far as like from the bad side, is it takes up an inventory slot early on, and it's when I was trying to use it, it's really awkward because you need like multiple pieces for even shroud, right? Like sometimes you'll have like boots, Kindle gem, then you'll need like null magic mantle. And then you could get a cloth armor or something, but then all of a sudden, you don't, because you need a control ward too, but all of a sudden you can't do something like buy a cloth armor. I can't remember the exact permutations where it comes up, but it gets in the way of early builds because you need so many like little items as a support, and you get so much value out of little items because your economy is so trash. But like, there's definitely some times where it's really obnoxious, where you can't get an item because you have that stopwatch in your inventory, or you're waiting on it to come up. No. We don't have. Well, I kind of got priced into that where I'd already used the ult and it kind of felt bad. So I did bait the I did bait what's her name into trying to help me out. So that was my fault on that. We probably need to roll out, don't we? I mean, I don't know. Syndra's pretty strong. No. Let's roll out, guys. Don't give them Baron. Just leave. Just leave. Fuck. Fucking run. Quit messing with him, dude. Just go get this. God. People just always want to play on the knife's edge. It's like, we have 2 inhibitors now. Just go get Baron. Locket's fallen off pretty hard. I mean, it's still, like, playable. But I think the vast majority of tanks really prefer to get even Shroud. From what I've seen. Like, Locket's more of like, well, in this certain comp, like, or against a certain comp. Yeah. Why are they fighting? Okay, we got it. It's viable, but again, I don't think, like, even Shroud's very good too. Like, the damage, damage is not turbo impressive on it. It's okay. A big part of it's just the defensive stats are also really big. I mean, Locket does have that too. There's definitely a conversation about Locket versus Brand for sure. But I'm usually thinking like even Shroud versus Shirelia's, and like the extra defenses on even Shroud are super useful. That's true. Locket gives you some. It's just not as much. I think, doesn't Locket give you 2 armor and magic resist? It gives like your whole team 2 armor and magic resist, which does scale a bit better. Kim Tank's pretty bad right now. Maybe preseason. Like, Rakan really doesn't need to get in there personally. Like, Shirelia's is okay for that reason for getting in there, but it's really about helping your team follow up. I don't know. I've had a lot more success with Even Shroud. Okay, so first up. Probably gotta turn the resolution down here. Do I? Or is it at the bottom? Here we go. I thought Feather Daddy was number 1 too, honestly, but it looks like he's either not playing Rakan a lot or has fallen off a bit, or maybe this is an alt, or like he's got one of these as like a different name for him, an alt. All right, so this is the number 1 Korean Rakan. Guardian every single game, without question. Every matchup, every game. This is LAS. Technically, this guy has the most points. It's a minor region, but let's see what he does. Guardian every single game, no question. EU West, number 1 Rakan. Guardian every single game, no exceptions. Another EU West guy. This guy's only Masters, but he has a 68% win rate. Guardian every single game. Up. We got 1 Glacial taker here. He picked Glacial once. So out of the top Rakans here, 50 games or something, they took Glacial 1 time. That was 40 days ago, though. It's important to understand this guy doesn't play a lot of Rakan right now, or at least he hasn't over the last month, but that was before the nerf to stopwatch. So keep that in mind, though. That's before the nerf to stopwatch, and that's what I was talking about. That could be a really important factor. This guy, Guardian every time. Korea. Guardian most times. I don't know what was... Unsealed Spellbook 1 time. I don't know if he was just goofing around or it was a specific matchup or something. He just wanted to... He's got bored and wanted to try something out. I don't know. But it looks like most of the time it's Guardian. Hasn't played it a ton recently, but... Oh, let me get Jason in here. Real quick. Yo. Okay, here's one guy that likes Glacial. He's Diamond. No, he's Masters. Okay, that was last season. Hey, what's up?
What up?
I'm just looking over. People were asking me about Glacial versus Guardian, so I'm just looking that up just real quick, and then we'll...
Sounds good.
So this guy likes it. He does approach velocity. seems really odd. I mean, I guess maybe it helps you run away after you've gone in or something, because it doesn't help you go in, because you don't trigger the glacial until you've already gone in and hit him with your W. Seems like a bit of an odd choice. Okay, so we got one taker on it. Like the 10th ranked Rakan down the list or something. Who was that? Was it Extract? I can't remember. We on Dr. Chaos here? Mostly Guardian, although he does take Airy some, which is interesting. I've thought about Airy. I mean, it does give you, like, better trading, maybe for, like, really aggressive lanes. It's definitely a minority opinion, though. Breezy is kind of a mix. Well, it's 50-50, Guardian and Glacial. One of those Glacials was a month ago. This guy in Korea, all Guardian all the time. Plays a lot of Rakan. So yeah, I mean, that's basically the vibe I was getting. It's that the vast majority of games are Guardian among even high level players. There are some, but it's like less than 20% of the time, I would say, is fair. I didn't add it all up. I'd say it's probably 10% of these games are Guardian. I don't think Rakan's been played a ton at Worlds, but we'll look at that and then we'll get moving. I'll go ahead and post in queue. Oops. Has he really only been played twice at Worlds? There's no way that's right. Really? Does that include play-ins? No. So he's been played 5 times at Worlds. So, I mean, it's like no sample size, basically. But for what it's worth, the 2 people that played him right there played Guardian. Aery's really just for laning. It's not really that much of a damage god, because you don't have great poke. Like, most champions that use Airy, it's for, like, very heavy harassment in lane. And Rakan's cooldowns are really long. Even his Q is, like, 13 seconds, I think, level 1. Well, no, Rakan's been played a lot in the past, even when Zaya's not good. Rakan, it's like every Worlds, before this one, I think, he was a top 5 most picked. Like 2008, 9, 10, and 11, he was the top 5 most picked. And usually had a pretty high win rate. It's just specifically this Worlds, he's not picked as much. I'm not sure, like, why. I guess just certain champs, but he doesn't require Zaya. Obviously, it's best if Zaya's really good. Like, that's good for Rakan, but even in metas where she's not played that often, he's usually still pretty good in engage metas. But you're not seeing much of an engage meta. Like, that's what's kind of weird. I mean, I guess you are. Like, Leona and Nautilus are there. But you're also... Maybe it's just, like... He can be vulnerable to enchanters in the right kind of situations, right? Like, Soraka and Yuumi can be sort of tough. And you are seeing those as, like, powerhouse picks. Like, Soraka's not picked all the time, but... Yeah, Airy falls off on Rakan. On other champs that have lower cooldowns, it's better. I mean, in, like, absolutely perfect situations where you can shield someone once and then wait, like, a couple of seconds to get your Airy back and then shield them again, you know, it can have a lot of value. The big thing about Aerie is it doesn't protect you personally. Guardian protects you. And that's one of the biggest threats as Rakan is if you get burst down. So durability, I mean, that's the whole thing for Guardian, like I've said like a million times, because like, you just, it doesn't seem like it's much. It's like, oh, you just get like 150 health or something out of Guardian, but it really is like, it does make a huge difference. Okay, so World Championship is not play-ins. That's something else. I guess I could just say game version. All on 12/18. That's probably a better way to do it, because none of the normal season, I think, was played on 12/18. Nautilus has a 20% win rate. Leona has 37%. Soraka actually only has a 33%. Maybe I've just seen the 2 games that she won. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I still think Rakan's good, but clearly there's a reason no pros are picking him, because it's not like he's low-key. Like I said, he's usually got really good representation at Worlds historically. So it's not like people aren't trying him out. You can, yeah. I mean, I would say, honestly, if you're trying to go for some kind of one-shot, like, build with Rakan, I would probably rather just go Electrocute or something like that. Aerie really is for poke. Yeah, I haven't played Aftershock a lot. It's possible that could be good. That does give you a lot of protection. It doesn't help your teammates, though. That's the thing. Guardian also helps other people not get blown up. Because one of the best situations where Rakan shines is you're rolling up to a fight that's already going on with your R, and then you go in with your E, you hit them with that fat-ass shield with your Guardian plus your E, and then you just totally turn the fight around. Like, Rakan does that better than almost anybody. It's just like rolling up out of nowhere and just completely turning the tables on people. And Guardian just fits that really well. But yeah, I'll check Feather Daddy's video on it. Like I said, just because, I mean, it's hard to ignore that of the top however many Rakan players that we looked at, what, 10 or 15, that one of them regularly used Glacial. It's not a ringing endorsement, but I'll look at it and see. Maybe situationally it can be good. Obviously, he's a good player. I don't know why he's not in the top 15, because you're right, when I saw him, because I've looked him up, I know that name. When I saw him, he was. So I don't know what happened, if he's taking a break or maybe he's playing non-Rakan stuff right now. But yeah, I remember him being a good challenger Rakan player. I mean, obviously he's better than me, right? Like, as a player, but I'm just, like, saying conceptually, you know, I regularly look up a bunch of this stuff on Rakan, and usually I end up going with mostly the meta stuff. It is a bit different, Challenger Elo versus, you know, Platinum, but I think with Rakan, a lot of the principles are similar. So what's up, man? You're hanging out with the boys tonight?
Yeah,
what's going on?
Well, I sold my modern deck because I really don't play a whole lot.
Okay.
Cody helped sell it, or he sold it for me, so
Nice.
I had to go pick up the money from him. So and then I just went to this place that they were at.
Okay.
It's like a little bar.
Hell yeah. Little bar? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Got that magic bar?
Yeah, it's actually like a they're playing a kill team with like 4 people, Warhammer 40k.
Okay, nice.
You could also get like beer and stuff there. It's pretty sweet.
I see.
Feel a lot better than I did yesterday.
I mean, Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is good. But again, I don't think it's an elo thing, right? We just saw 14 out of the 15, you know, Masters Plus people were also running Guardian. So I don't think it's just like bad players need Guardian for trades. I think it's just better. Like it, you know, the way that I explained it is when your Guardian's off cooldown, you can go in for really aggressive trades because you basically get an extra 100 something health. And Second Wind provides quite a bit early too. Font is also low-key really good if you have to get grievous wounds later. I've talked about that a ton in the past too. Where when you put Font on someone, if they auto-attack, it counts as a heal that comes from you. And that's going to trigger the Putrefier. So it spreads the Putrefier around really well. And it does like an okay amount of healing for a secondary rune late game. It's not insane, but it's usually like 800, something like that. I mean, they might need it more than high elo, but the high elo are still taking it. Right? It's not about needing it, it's about you have it, so you can be aggressive with it. It's not like a crutch. It could be, it's like an opportunity creator, right? If you play around that cooldown of having it up, which I haven't done a lot here, then you can take more aggressive trades. It's like Aftershock's not really a crutch. It kind of is, but every time Aftershock's up, that's like a go button. Because you're going to get a good trade. Or you have a much better chance of getting a good trade. I don't know, like Glacial on someone like Janna is really good because fuck, I'm getting lag. Are you kidding me? Dude, how many did he miss in a row? 4, 5? Kaisa has cleanse against Thresh Hook. Also cleanses Ignite. Dude, that was so fucking sad. Like, he even missed when I had him knocked up with the W. That sucked. I mean, Thresh got both of those kills. We got a kill and an assist. Oh, what the hell? Samira got the assist on me. She had hit me for like, what felt like 15 seconds. Glacial, I don't know. Like, my final verdict is it seems like it just seems like it should be good. It's just the numbers just aren't there. It just doesn't prevent enough, I feel like, a lot of the time. And the slow is not brutal enough unless you're playing like Janna or something like that. We need to be careful, man. Thresh is gonna be there. Huh, that's weird. Or not, did I say Thresh? Graves. Gee, I mean, how many times did I fucking ping it? This Karthus is horrendous. But hopefully we can still win. Like, we literally just saw him walk through there, and I pinged it at least 6 times. With different pings. Question mark, assist, Graves pings, like... back pings. I think I did back pings. Yeah, the thing with Thresh, Glacial's okay if you don't want to go in as much. If you're playing like backline Thresh, throwing hooks and just peeling, like it's okay. But there's no such thing really as like backline Rakan, you know? Like, in order for you to do stuff, you have to get close. You have to get in there. But yeah, and I mean on Blitzcrank it's good too, because again those champions don't have to go in. Sort of similar, like people do it on like Nautilus and stuff too. People do it on Leona. I don't really understand the Leona angle as much because she scales so well with Aftershock, but I mean, if you keep them slowed, that does allow you to maybe land a second stun on them, so that's probably the theory behind it, because her cooldowns are so low. But Rakan's cooldowns are really high. Really? Okay. She dies with her fucking ult. It's like ult and Q. So annoying. And Tristana was super scared last time too. We ended up winning that game though. No, what? Are you kidding? What? Against Samira, you think I should get Tabby and Randuin? You're overdoing. In my opinion, you're overdoing it a little bit on the defense there. Like, you should be mobile enough to get away from her. Like, they don't have enough CC to warrant getting mercs. Like, Ninja Tabbies are almost never, unless they have like 4 ADs or something. Ionians are like extremely powerful on Rakan. Especially if you get them before your first ult. I could have gotten out of that last situation, I think. I just thought we could turn it. Oh my god, he stole the Karthus ult. Oh, this is getting real rough real quick. 3v2? Can't... I mean, this car... Like, I know this Karthus is horrible. I don't know. This is gonna be hard. I don't really have anyone to play around yet. Kai'Sa hasn't taken advantage of opportunities we've had. I'm gonna have to get Grievous. Do we Giga Scale? We scale okay. I mean, they have really good scaling too. Yeah, Thresh is probably just gonna sit on mid. There he is. Because Samira can basically 2v1 us right now. Bottom. Fuck, seriously? Okay, well that's good. It's too much. You can't. I don't think. You just got to build damage. Again, Kai'Sa should be able to reposition if she has hands with her R. You got to have damage on ADCs most of the time. Like sometimes you see some weird shit on like some hyperscalers with attack speed, like Vayne, because she already has a lot of free damage built into her kit with silver bolts. But even then, it's still off meta. But occasionally you'll see a Vayne go like. If you can bait him to go on you, well, that Darius probably just fucking gave it away. Karthus fucking used his ult on that? Are you kidding? Bro. That was too many resources on that Sylas. So it's like, yeah, occasionally they'd get Randuins or... Wits is a little different because Wits at least has some, you know, aggression to it. You might see, like, I don't know, Kraken, PD, Wits, or something like that. Randuins is pretty rare. I mean, maybe like a 5th or a 6th item instead of Guardian or something. Are we just dead? Well, we just... We have enough. I'm just gonna mute him. It's like, dude, it's not a compositional thing. It's a you being bad thing. We could have beaten her in lane. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that, like, you know, 99% of people aren't going to do that. Doesn't necessarily mean you're wrong in all situations, but it just depends on the ADC. Again, Vayne is a candidate for it in some situations, 3rd or 4th item. Or if the, you know, if for some reason the rest of your team, you know, just does a million damage and you're playing weak side, and the enemy team has like 5 ADs or something, like, I'm not saying there's never a situation. I'm just saying the default situation with Kai'Sa is not doing that. Yeah, she's gonna be really hard to kill. Okay. Yeah. Thresh, well, they're all gonna fucking be here. She's almost got her ult ticked up. Karthus does have ult. Need to let those stacks fall off of her. Okay, there they go. I don't know if Graves is still here. I can get her. Oh, fuck, Graves is still there. I don't think it's that tough a lane on it. Like, we had lots of opportunities. He just played, like, very passively several times where we could have had a kill. Can Darius come down, or...? They are, but you have to have damage. It's not like bruisers where, you know, a lot of these fighters have a crazy amount of built-in damage, right? Like Darius, for example, has a lot of built-in damage. So you can afford to go like 1 or 2 damage items in all defense. Like ADC usually is very different, where in order to do damage, you have to actually build it. It's just an agility role for the most part. You just got to be able to dodge stuff in position. Like, Kai'Sa does have the stacks, you know, with her passive, but they don't do a lot of damage without stats. Again, there are champs that are exceptions to that, like Vayne has a lot of sort of free damage in her kit. What the fuck? How does he not die? Look at this bullshit build. He doesn't even have Gore Drinker. I thought he Gore Drinker and like healed his whole health bar. Yeah, I mean, those regions are just really good at video games. Especially Korea. Especially League of Legends. I mean, I don't mind it. People get mad about NA. I'm like, dude, America dominates fucking everything in the world for the most part. Like, let someone else have some sometimes, man. It's fine. We're just getting fucking blown out. ADC's so fat. It's really the Graves, too, though. I don't know about FF20. We still might be able to come back. It's low plat. Who pays better, Korea or China? Probably Korea. Like, pays their players more? Probably Korea, I would guess, but I don't know. Korea, in general, is a richer country per capita than China is. China has the bigger economy, but I think a lot of their workers still get paid far less. South Korea is a very tech, like, pretty small country with a pretty, I think, like, mostly metropolitan type of population. But I think South Korea, like, per person money is pretty strong. Their overall GDP is just not going to be as high because they're just a smaller country with fewer people. I think. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, most of China is. I think it's, I don't remember what the average annual earnings are in China. It was like less than $10,000 last time I looked, though. Now, this year is going to change a lot, at least in America, because there have been so many, like, massive pay increases for the lowest earners. with like the minimum wage in most places being 15 an hour and a lot of places being more than that. But yeah, the US before the last couple of years, last time I looked, I think the average wage was like 45,000 or something a year. Now this isn't taking like purchasing power parity, right? Like, you know, American dollars in China buys a lot more than it does here, or like in a lot of countries. Fuck, I'm just dead. This Thresh is playing pretty well too. We had a chance to get him in lane, but it just didn't happen. Live in Romania? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a lot of money in Romania, probably. But there are places here where, now an extreme example is like New York City, where having, like, that sounds like a lot of money, but if you make $15 an hour or $20 an hour in New York City, and, you know, a one-bedroom apartment is like $3,000 a month or something. Well, that's pretty rough. So it's like you make a lot of money in a lot of places in the US, but some places are also super expensive. Now, where I live is in the southern United States, and that's a lot better. Like, you can rent a house here, like a small house. There's one that's like right down the road from me that's a good, like, pretty good neighborhood, good schools, everything. I think the person who rents that, it's $700 a month. It's like a little one-bedroom house that's probably like 800 square feet or something. It's really old. It's from like 1920 or something. But, I mean, it's basically in the middle of the city.
Oh, no way.
And to have it all to yourself, a whole little house with a yard and stuff, for $700 or $800 is pretty crazy. I think it's a crazy good bargain. Yeah, $200. That's about our grocery now too. It's expensive. Yeah, it's really good. So I mean, Tennessee is very affordable and a lot of it's very good. I mean, it's not like downtown, right? Like, it's not like literally like big city. It's like in the suburbs. But yeah, I mean, and it's near like major roads. Like, you can get to downtown in probably 15 minutes. So yeah, not everywhere in the United States is like insanely expensive. They're like, the South is notoriously very cheap compared to most other places. And there are a lot of opportunities near where I live too. It's not like there aren't any jobs. There's a major like national science facility that has the fastest supercomputer in the world that's like 30 minutes away from where I live. So it's not like Silicon Valley, you know, level of tech jobs, but there's definitely like opportunities. There's a major university I work at that's got a lot of stuff going on. It's like East Germany, probably. I mean, I'm sure most countries have, you know, similar stereotypes of areas. Fuck. Well, I was gonna try to save him, but maybe I should practice like Eing first and then Ring, because that does happen a decent amount where I'll R to try to run into somebody and then E. The thing is, that allows me to W. If I R first and then E, then my W's ready by the time the E completes, and then I can W off of it. Versus if I wait, I have to wait that half a second for the W. Well, East Tennessee doesn't have that many tornadoes. Tennessee's weird because it's so long. But like East Tennessee is like mountains with almost no extreme weather because the mountains like protect a lot of weather, especially if you live like in the valley. But yeah, like Nashville and Memphis, the flat parts do get a decent amount of like tornadoes and stuff. It's weird because it's long. Yeah. Especially if it had that Tennessee shape to it, that would be interesting. The what is it, trapezoidal. What the hell am I supposed to do with this? That's right, Faded. Yeah, I hear about that shit. I'm like, oh, there's hail in Memphis or tornadoes or whatever. I'm like, that sounds rough. Part of it, too, is most of that weather follows along this, I think it's called like the jet stream or something. It's like this, like, U shape, starts in like Washington State and then just strangely goes down to like Texas and then goes back up to New York. Just the way the winds go. And Knoxville is like basically out of that. But it goes like straight through Nashville and Memphis. Or maybe the jet stream is something else. I don't remember, but that's just the way the weather goes a lot of times. And Knoxville like dodges a lot of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah! Getting blown out. No. Our team doesn't win. We're not even close. Jet stream is for airplanes. I think it's the thing that I've mentioned. I mean, maybe it applies to planes too. Maybe in Germany, that's like that's the thing. There are different like weird little idioms and stuff in different languages. I'm not sure if that's the technical name for this thing I'm thinking of, but like, hold up, let me. Yeah, that shit. In the US at least. Yes, this thing. That's what I was talking about. Like that U shape. I thought. See, I thought it went down through Texas though. Maybe. Okay, see, right there. Okay, so I guess it changes. But yeah, it looks something like that most of the time. Where it goes down from like Washington or Oregon into Texas, and then usually I feel like it rolls over into like New York. See, this one's like completely dodging Tennessee, which is right here. So I guess it changes. But yeah, that's like where most of the weather happens. I feel like, you know, with my kindergarten understanding of meteorology. But yeah, maybe that is preferable for planes or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know all the terms for stuff. I just know that East Tennessee does not get a lot of extreme weather. I can tell you that. Occasionally we get some snow, but it's nothing. sometimes we get a little flooding, but that's really just specific to a certain part of town, and that's just from really bad civil engineering, I think, more than anything else. Like, there's a place near where my daughter goes to daycare that if we get a decent amount of rain, it's almost guaranteed it's going to be flooded. There's a place on campus one time where I like to park that was underwater, and I had to go park like 2 miles away, maybe not 2, maybe an additional mile away, and run to class. That was the latest I've ever been to class. I was like 45 minutes late to class because I had to go around like 3 flood zones to take my daughter to daycare and to get to campus. I should have just called class off that day. But I had other classes too, I think. So I had to be there anyways. A lot of them stayed. I was really surprised. I think that was the semester I had a higher than usual amount of misfits in my class too, because I was teaching 102 in the spring. So it was a bunch of people who had failed it in the fall. It was like an 8 a.m. class. And I think I still had like half the people there when I got there 45 minutes late. I did send them emails telling them what was going on, but... it's not a sewage problem. It's like I don't know how to describe it. They didn't build enough places for the water to go. It's kind of an older part of town. Okay.
I decide what the tide will bring.
Nami, okay, he's taking exhaust. I was about to say. Dude, I was running like 10 minutes late to my 4 o'clock class the other day, and a bunch of students are like already leaving. I caught them in the hallway. I'm like, guys. I think I'm sorry I'm running late, but I mean, they're freshmen. They don't know. Like, there's always this myth that you can, like, leave a class after X number of time. Like, you're permitted to leave after X amount of time. But I'm pretty sure there's no rule on the book for that. I'm, like, 90% sure there's no rule on the book for that. Do I go free boots cosmic? I think so in this lane. Like, we're not going to be getting poked that hard. Nasus OP. Well, late game against Set, he probably is. I don't think Nasus is, like, instant dodge. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what Mal said. Just sleep or just work on other homework. I never left when professors were running late. I don't remember that many of them, like, running that late. But I'm not someone who's, like, particularly offended if people are running a little bit late. It depends on the situation. But if a date's late or something, and I'm, like, sitting at a restaurant for, like, 45 minutes by myself, or, you know, that level of lateness is kind of bad. But if I'm just, like, chilling, whatever, especially this day and age when you got smartphones and whatever else, I'll just fuck around. I mean, Rakan is very good. I picked Nami specifically because we picked Lucian. Like, because Nami is really, really strong with Lucian. They did nerf the interaction with Electrocute, but you still have a lot of synergy. Now, he didn't take PTA. I don't know. Like, I heard Double Lift, Sneaky, and Meteos debating that. Yeah, I mean, I would probably prefer PTA. That's what Double Lift wanted, but a lot of people, a lot of the pros at Worlds were taking First Strike, and they were kind of debating it. But I can't remember what their conclusion was, but I remember Double Lift by default thinking PTA was better. Yeah, exactly. I usually don't order if somebody's... I don't go in, usually, if they're running late. I'll just, like, wait near the door or something. I guess that's not true. Sometimes I might go in, but... Remember, Sandra was, like, 15 minutes late to our first date, but it was nice weather outside, so I was just sitting on a bench chilling. I'm not that mad about it most of the time because I'm late to a lot of things. I'm on time for, like, dates, though, interviews, tests, you know, stuff that's, like, really important, I'm on time. But if it's, like, you know, quite a lot of other things, then I'm a little more chill about it. Auto attack, you fuck! What? What? I'm in shock. Lucian's literally full fucking health? And he stopped autoing? It looked like he was standing still for like 2 seconds. Yeah, Electrocute Nami doesn't work anymore. Why was he not stepping forward into her, though? Like, she just burned both summoners to chase me. Dude, I'm getting tired of these little bitch ADCs, man. Like, we need some men. I shouldn't have stepped up initially, I guess. I thought he would step up. Like, Samira was at 50% health, but he just sat there and watched me get hooked. And then, like, never moves up. This is a rough night, man. We're getting so many passive ADCs. Like, we could be winning all of these fights. You don't play Lucian to be safe. You play Lucian to, like, face stomp him in lane. I don't know. I mean, the moral of the story is just pick Rakan and don't play around your lane opponent because they're probably going to be bad. Like, that's the moral I should have learned, you know, 5,000 games ago. Or play around your lane partner, whatever. Don't play around your lane. Who gives a fuck? Just play Rakan. Fucking auto him, dude. Christ. mean, I guess at least we traded. Did not... Who got that? Okay, Nautilus got that. He, like, waits until we've already traded the whole time. They've cleared out the wave, and he dashes right in front of Nautilus and gets hooked. Man. Now, Samira does go tabby because she doesn't need attack speed. So, Samira is someone who does go tabby. She doesn't go Randuin's, but she does go tabby. There are some ADCs, very few, that will go tabby. Please fucking do damage, man. It feels like my ADCs have like a hack, like minus 25% damage hack or something. These last like 2 or 3 games. Well, he just needs to use his combos, like... He's not comboing at all. Like, that should have been dash, as soon as I hit the bubble. Should have been dash, auto, Q, auto, W, auto. But I think he only, like, dash... He may have Q'd, I can't remember. But it certainly was not 6 empowered Qs, or empowered passives. Throw a W at him. I mean, I guess he is kind of low on mana. God, this guy makes me want to pull my fucking hair out. No. The fuck? God damn it. Jesus Christ. Fuck. I gotta really use this mute button. You buffed yourself, Nami. It's like, dude, it's a movement speed. I dodged the hook because I got the movement speed. Because I'm trying to leave. And you dashed in. Even one-on-one, we're gonna lose to him. You're 0-3, brother. Like, look at your stat line. We won the last fight because Viego was there. Well, Zach is not camping bottom. He's just got a free gank. He just did dragon. And he's like, we see them coming at us on wards. We can't even win a 2v2. I just gotta mute, man. I get too tilted listening to these clowns. Viego's snowballing. He's got 1 kill. I mean, I hope we win, but that's a bit strong. I don't care. If he wants to die, I guess go for it. It's literally wasted his ult on the wave. Sees me backing in a bush. Goes in on Nautilus, dies. Dude, he's been mentally checked out since like the first minute of the game. I don't know. I don't think he can check in. Samira can fucking do her little thing to my wave. Yeah.
Oh, I missed. Damn.
I was like, maybe she won't block for Nautilus though, but she did. Well, yeah, I mean, we don't have great wave clear. We have a lot more problems than that though. We lack even like basic understandings of silver level things in a game. Back up, man. Holy fuck. This guy's a fucking lemming. Maybe he'll go AFK or something, and then we can get like 5 LP back. Like real AFK, not just mentally AFK. Can we collapse on this? Go, 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 Viego! Jungle's really far behind, too. I don't know what you mean, except jungle. Alright, I guess I'll just let him have that.
Damn.
Nation's probably dead again. I don't think we win this, guys. Turtling up doesn't work. I mean, we want to, like, not int into them, but you can't just, like, AFK at your tower. You gotta be proactive looking for ways to get back in the game. You can't just give them all your resources. We also don't outscale. I don't think. I mean, Set's already worthless. It's just gonna get worse. Samira scales way better than Lucian. Nautilus scales better than I do. I mean, Viego, like, if he gets a lot of kills, like, we can still win, but it's like what we got right there. That's what we need. We need picks. I think Nautilus does. I mean, it's hard to say for sure, but, like, Nautilus has a lot more CC than I do. I mean, I guess Lucian's not down a lot of CS, so that's good. Oh my god, he got out. Fuck, I'm just dead, aren't I? Go in, dude. Viego's flanking. Fuck. Sack was trying that cheesy Q, yeah. I think he could have just... I don't know. There's a better way he could have done that. But... No, we can't hug turrets, man. Like, we need to not int, but we also need to be actively looking for opportunities. It's like we've said a few times, it's... They outscale us. No, you can't just give them, like, Baron. And everything else, like, all your jungle camps, all the Baron. I mean, we have I mean, realistically, we have, like, a 5% chance to win this anyways, but it's gotta be looking for active plays. Like that. That's what we need. It's got to be measured aggression and look for plays or we have numbers.
Right here. Well.
Yeah, I mean, the Viego's doing shit. He's alright. He's better than the Karthus was last game, but the problem is just like Lucian and Set are just worthless and they don't scale. Randuins? Yeah, no Randuins, man. I don't know. Tabby on Samira, yes. Randuins, no. The reason Samira gets Tabby is because she has to jump in really closely, and she doesn't benefit a ton from attack speed. Because most of her damage is just ability damage off of her ult and her Qs. And she also usually takes shield bow, and sometimes will take another lifesteal item, so she has more effective health. Lucian, no, man, they have so much more damage. Like, Samira is at 3 full items, including Infinity Edge. Lucian doesn't even have a second item yet. I mean, Samira is just gonna, like, block my wave. Oh my god. She just deleted him. This is hilarious. We both, like, flashed away from each other. Ooh, man, these games haven't even been games, really. Never play on Fridays. I mean, I don't really think it's an age thing, if the implication is kids don't have school tomorrow, so there's more likely to be kids playing. I just tried to get, I mean, honestly, Rakan probably wouldn't have saved that game either, but, oh, drunk people? I don't know. It's possible, but I think it's just people that, I don't know. We did win the Triss game, I think. We haven't lost every game, just the last 2. Feel bad. It's just specifically the ADCs have been bad every game. We won the Triss game despite that, though. That was before Jason got on, I think. Yeah, because we had the Syndra and the Belveth. Yeah, the last 2 were pretty bad. Man, does this guy play Kai'Sa? Okay, so the Kai'Sa player was autofilled. Yeah, I mean, it was really the Syndra. The Syndra came bottom, and I gave her like 2 or 3 kills. And she's a good player anyways. Yeah, the Kai'Sa player, I mean, he's kind of all over the place. He's a sampler. But he mostly plays jungle. And then I'll almost guarantee this dude does not play Lucian. No. He's a top laner. It might literally have been his first Lucian game. I probably should dodge more. I wasn't paying attention. Reminds me, like, Nice tweeted something about, like, trying to get rid of dodge. I just take dodge out of the game. Seems too exploitable. But then I saw in his tweet, dude, he is like, dude, he's so mad these days, man. Because, like, so many people are questioning him. There's an entire meme. You had, like, LS commenting on him. Hey, what's up, Curdy? It's because of HDR. You just might have to brighten your screen a little bit. I'm trying to figure out how to work through that. But yeah, people were memeing on him because he charges $350 for a coaching session, and he's not even challenger. Never was a pro player. It's like, I get it, you know, his argument is that people pay him that, so why would he not charge that? Like, that's his argument. Is that, like, he can fill his schedule with people willing to pay him $250, or $350 now for a coaching session, which is just, like, unbelievable to me. But, I mean, a lot of it is marketing, and some of it is kind of false advertising. I think. I mean, you know, he also makes the point that he puts a lot of his coaching sessions on his, like, his YouTube page, his website, and lets people see it for free. So it's not like you don't know what you're buying, because he has at least 100 coaching sessions up there. So it's like, I mean, I can see both sides of it, but it's like, dude, you have to understand, people are going to critique you for that hard, because for 90% of people, it seems like you're scamming people. Like, it's like, yes, people are willing to do it, and that's fine, and I understand your perspective. If you can charge it and people are paying, okay, but you gotta you gotta understand, people are also going to critique you for that too. So I don't know why he gets so mad about it. Well, I mean, it's not... Scam is a difficult word, right? Because, again, you can see what he's offering if you look on, like, his YouTube page. But a lot of it is marketing, right? Like, he markets himself as, like, #1 Trendemir player NA or something. Or, like, he markets himself as a challenger coach, but he's not challenger. Right? So, it's like, is that misleading advertising? I mean, it's like, at one point, he was the #1 Trendemir NA. I think, maybe. At least, it's hard to say. A non-pro player would be #1 in anything, almost, right? Because pro players are almost always better. But it's like, it's walking the line, right, of taking advantage of people. I think that's what... Because, you know, part of the assumption that it's like, well, people are willing to pay me this, therefore it's okay, it's ethical. Like, he's not forcing people to do it. It's like, that's true, but you're also assuming that people are fully informed, like rational actors most of the time. So it's like, you know, I don't think there's anything illegal about it, but I think that it's like, I think it's of dubious morality. Well, no, but Apple, you're saying like Apple because Apple sells stuff. But Apple offers a premier product, though, that has a lot of features that are way better than other things. Alright. No, but that's where it comes into. Is it on them? Right? Do stupid's maybe a strong word, but do ignorant people, is it okay to scam ignorant people? That's, I think, what the question comes down to. Is it okay to take advantage of people who don't know a lot about something? I personally lean on no. I think as a responsible person trying to be a true professional that's looking out for people, you should not take advantage of people just because you can whenever you can. So, I mean, it just depends, though. But I don't think the argument that people should know better and that people who are smarter than them about something are just, it's morally permissible just to take advantage of them. And that they just need to, you know, quote unquote, get good. Basically, get smart. I think some of it is on people. I don't think everyone who gets hustled, like, is completely excused. But I think it's definitely a question that's worth asking. About, you know, taking advantage of people's ignorance with, like, clever marketing and stuff like that. I mean, obviously a lot of products do it. But my, you know, my main point, like, with Nice is, like, you can't get upset because people are critiquing you for that. Because that's how people are going to see it. They're going to see it as you taking advantage of players that don't understand. Now, another thing is, you know, there might be some people that just want to support his content and just, you know, don't mind paying $350. Like, it's not just a straight, like, is this coaching worth it? Maybe they just like to support him because they like his content style. They want to support him because he's a veteran, which I really respect, you know, out of the military. I mean, people have given me randomly, you know, hundreds of dollars just because they like my content. Even though I didn't give them a, you know, quote-unquote, easily quantifiable value proposition, you know? So, there's that aspect, too, where people just might want to donate because they like him. Or get a coaching session because they like him. But I think it's in the marketing that's the most questionable part. Like, calling yourself a challenger coach, calling yourself, like, you know, #1 Trendemir in A or something like that. That's what's questionable. Maybe. But either way, you gotta know you're gonna... You gotta know you're gonna get criticism for it. So, and he's just been lashing out a lot on Twitter, like, all caps, just anyone that critiques him, he's just trying to, like, call him out and just, like, defend himself. It's like, dude, it is what it is. You look guilty when you lash out all the time about stuff. That's my thing. No, I think the Flamers is not the way to go. That's the approach he's been taking. I'm like, you think it's a good value proposition? Other people disagree? You know, it's just kind of how it is. This time, I don't know. I guess we'll get a Shirelia's. It's very good with Mordekaiser and Diana. I don't quite know what you mean, Harrisburg, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is him saying that he's the best at something. For people who don't understand, that are maybe newer to the game and don't understand that there are, like, pro-level coaches and stuff like that that you can get a coaching session from, or, like, other challengers, like, people that are actually challenger, and maybe one trick the champion you want to play, you can probably get a coaching session for $50 or less from most people. And, I mean, there's something to be, you know, there is a lot of value in education itself, right? If he teaches it better than somebody else, like, that's valuable. That could be even more valuable than being an actual challenger, right? It's just being able to explain stuff. But I've watched the videos, and I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if that's the case. But maybe people just like his coaching style. I don't know. She's got Ghost? What? Like, you don't, as I, like to say a lot of times, you don't need a Harvard professor to teach your high school chemistry class. So it's not like you need a challenger to learn something useful to get out of silver, right? But it's just marketing yourself as a challenger when you're not, that's the thing. And just the other people not knowing about, other coaching possibilities out there. Now, that's on the marketing. Like, he's got really good marketing. I'm surprised, though, because Pro Guides... Pro Guides has a shitload of marketing, too. And I think a lot of the people on Pro Guides that are, like, former pros or challengers or whatever they're partnered up with, I feel like they offer it for, like, $50 or less. And Pro Guides is all over the place in terms of marketing. So that's kind of the craziest thing to me is... Surely you've seen a commercial for something like Pro Guides. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like, you can find a lot of free stuff on YouTube. That, I mean, coaches are useful, but it's just like the value proposition is just like, it's so absurdly high. That's the thing. If he was charging like $100 or something, like, that's a high number. But it's like, okay, he's put a lot into building his brand. Marketing's not free. He was a former challenger, especially if you wanted coaching on top lane or Tryndamere or something. He's probably, like, pretty smart about the game. But, like, 350 is so high. I think that's what the major thing is. If it was, like, $100, if it was, like, a little bit of a premium, like, even double what Pro Guide coaches were charging, people would be like, alright, like, that's expensive, but he's got good marketing. Maybe he explains things well. But when it's 7 times what you can get other pros to pay, like $350, it seems exploitative. I think that's the big thing for a lot of people. It's just so absurdly high. I mean, he has a point that, like, people are paying it, but, it, again, it just harkens back to, well... Does that justify the price, though? I mean, from a strictly sort of hardcore capitalist, Machiavellian sense, like, fuck everybody, I'm gonna get mine, type of sensibility. Sure. Fuck. Yumi is so obnoxious. Guess I shouldn't have gone when she popped Ghost.
I can't wait to see what I'm gonna do.
Well, I'm not even talking about retention. I don't know. I don't know. It just... The main thing is it just seems high. He seems to get tilted by it constantly on his Twitter over the last week. My whole point is, like, you need to not tilt, man. You're gonna have a lot of haters for that. Like, you have to understand. You're gonna have a lot of haters. And some of that, like, critique is gonna be justified. They are basically all AD, that is true. But I think I still got to go Ionian, so we just got to make plays. It's going to be really painful that I chose Shirelius with Zed being super fed, but hopefully I can work around it. I don't know who is he killing? Is he like roaming on more? Because Jason's only died twice.
He's killed Diana 2 times. And,
Oh. What the fuck? She get a headshot? I thought I saved her. I guess her last shot was a headshot. Well, that's doomed. Oh my god. Well. Well, yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying, but like him critiquing people, like people are opting into that, and that's like for educational purposes, right? Like he's trying to help people improve. But like people coming at him and just saying you suck, you're a con artist, all this shit on his Twitter is not the same kind of critique, right? Like they're not trying to help him improve. They're not trying to educate him, and he's not asking for it, right? He's not paying for it. Other people are paying for it. So, you know, just because he does teaching, I don't think necessarily means that it's, you know, morally permissible to just wreck him on Twitter, right? But the nature of the critique being that it's not a good value proposition, you know, it's a reasonable critique. I wouldn't do it on Twitter, right? I just don't like casting aspersions on people, but I could see why people would critique that. But yeah, I think it's teaching or coaching is different than just unsolicited critiques. Yeah, but my thing is either way, I agree with your premise, right? That if you're gonna do something like that, if you're gonna do something that's morally ambiguous, like charge people an extortionate amount for the same type of service that other people are offering. No, all right. Like, if you're going to do something like that, you got to be ready for it. So I agree with that. I think that just because he coaches doesn't necessarily mean, you know, that, but yeah. If you're going to be like a public figure in general, and if you've got like over 100,000 subs on YouTube, you're a public figure. Even if you've got like, you know, like me, 30,000, you got to be able to deal with some stuff. Yeah, I mean, hecklers are really annoying, though. We haven't had any, like, they're that bad in years, but especially if you're that visible as he is, and if you're doing something that specifically morally ambiguous, and he's being coy. Like, if he says, I don't understand why people would critique me, it's like, bro, yeah, you do. Like, don't act like you don't. You know you're charging an insane price for these things, regardless of, like, whether or not you think it's justified. You have to understand that other people are going to question that, right? Like, there's no way you don't understand that. And it's not just because they're haters, just because they could do it. Because, again, my thing is, like, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. So I'm not saying necessarily he shouldn't, but I'm saying that, like, it's gray. I haven't heard LS has critiqued him before, and I haven't heard that, like, the video on it, but I heard LS called it, like, morally gray, and I think that's probably a good way to describe it. Yeah. God. See, these types of games just make Yumi feel completely, like, OP. If you're behind and they have carries that are turbo fed, Yumi just feels so oppressive. I don't know if I'd call LS a noob. I mean, he's obviously a very decorated player and he's been a professional coach. I disagree with some of the stuff he says in the meta, but I think a lot of what he says also, I think deep down he knows it's not the strongest. He just tries to look, he tries to innovate, and people like that. And I think it's good in general in the game to try to have innovation. I'll be able to get him. So I think he's ultimately a force for good. I think he's good for the game. I'd agree, you know, like I said, I disagree with some of his meta calls. He specifically is talking about, like, pro-level challenger, really high-level shit, though, right? Where my target, you know, demographic I'm looking at is, like, you know, plat and gold, so. Oh, the gambling thing? I know that Nice supports that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think that promoting, like, sports gambling and stuff like that, ultimately I think that's probably okay. I'm not, like, as morally against it. I think the main thing that people have with, like, esports and stuff is people still see it as primarily driven by, like, a teenage audience, having a much younger skew on general than a sports audience. So that's why I think people critique e-gambling more than sports gambling. Because kids are more susceptible, or, like, younger people in general are more susceptible to gambling addiction, I would think. I mean, I don't have hard stats on that, but younger people in general have a really hard time understanding risk. Older people do too, but it's like younger people are especially kind of prone to that. And that's the same kind of thing, like, harkens back to the taking advantage of ignorant people. Is it okay to, like, push, you know, gambling sites when you know that 70% of your viewership is under 18 or something like that? If that's the stat, I don't know, that's what it would be. But it's like, well, they should know. They should understand. I mean, it says it right there on the gambling website, play to win. You know, or whatever they're required to say. You may lose money. Is it like, are you fully covered if you say that to a 16-year-old? Hey, man, you might lose money gambling, but here's this site. It's really cool. It's really fun. You should try it out, right? Like, are we just assuming that ignorant people should be allowed to take advantage of other ignorant people because they don't know any better? I'm not a big fan of people taking advantage of people in general, but in theory, an ignorant, if it's way more complex than this, but an ignorant person would not be able to take advantage of another ignorant person, probably. I think it's more morally understandable if someone doesn't know any better and they're promoting something that's bad than someone who knows better that's promoting something that's bad. I think people who are in a position of power have a higher obligation, have a higher ethical obligation. God. But no, I don't necessarily think it's okay, morally okay, for someone who, like, I don't know, vapes or something, who's a 16-year-old to push vaping on another 16-year-old. It's a little bit more permissible if they don't understand that vaping is unhealthy, which is hard to fathom how you couldn't understand that this day and age, but this Yumi just makes it so fucking hard to dive. Did we get to Zed? We did get Zed, but I'm not sure if getting the Grievous is even worth it if Yumi gets Ludens. Says that the legal system is based on non-proven fact that people have a free will. I mean, if people are talking about not having free will, then there's really no point in having the conversation. Like, that's what I think about conversations about not having free will. It's like, okay, well, if people don't have free will, then there's no point in even thinking, right? Like, critical thinking is meaningless if we're going, like, hardcore, everything's determined. So I think it's not really a worthwhile conversation to have. If, like, taken to an extreme. I mean, I think that our free will is limited by our knowledge. I was talking about this with students the other day. If you don't know a choice exists, is it really a choice, right? If free will is being able to make legitimate choices, if you don't know a choice exists, is it really a choice? So to some extent, if you've been told your entire life that vanilla is the only ice cream, and that it's good, and you should enjoy vanilla, do you really have a choice to choose chocolate or strawberry? I would say no. So that's why I was trying to, like, really impress on my students that they always need to try to look for multiple perspectives. So that they understand, once they understand all the different perspectives, then they can make real choices in their argument. But if you just, you know, look at one source, or you just look at the same type of source over and over again for anything, then you're limiting your free will because you're limiting your choices. Fuck, I'm just dead. My thing timed out. Well, I mean, there needs to be a legal system. And it is based on people being responsible. Which sometimes they are, you know, responsible, and sometimes they aren't. That's why it takes a bunch of things into account to try to determine responsibility. That's why minors are treated differently, people with mental disabilities are treated differently.
Well, that's probably got to be for me, man.
Yeah, rough night in the office, but we'll get them next time. I see you, man. Have a good one. Well, I mean, you know, we'll keep doing the best we can. That's going to be it for me, too. It's going to be hard to get to Diamond. We can maybe do it. But, I would probably just lock for Platinum again, but it's fine. It is what it is. It's all good. I mean, maybe, like, there, you know, there probably is some validity that people could be drinking, but I don't notice anything that looks like really, like, you know, drunk behavior. I think it's just people being bad. 24-hour Diamond. I can't do those types of things anymore. Those super long streams with the 2 daughters and everything else going on. Getting a lot more classes, which is good. Like they gave me 4 classes for the spring, which is awesome. I used to only get 2. So that's pretty good, but it just takes up a lot more time. Yeah, I don't think they're drunk. I think they're just the Kaisa actually was like not that bad from what I remember. The Kaisa wasn't that bad, to be fair. The Zed just got really far out of control. This one was like, it felt like was closer, but we just lost. Right? Like, it was really the Zed was really far out of control, and it just felt like they had better scaling. I don't know. Like, Diana and Jason have okay scaling. I don't know. It was just a weird game. We just kind of got outplayed a couple of times bottom, and they're just able to snowball the lane with Caitlyn, just with the range. And she went like a very early game, like just hard win early, like with the lethality, and then the Yumi just made it kind of difficult because we were both short range. It was kind of hard to stay out of her ult. So, I don't know. I mean, they just played well. But, anyways, that's going to be it. Thank y'all very much. We'll be back tomorrow, probably around 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see y'all then. Have a good day.